So, books I need to read. I have so many books I need to read, some of which aren't even out yet, but I need to read them, like, now. Including Book 2 of the Dancing in Darkness series. Hint, hint, Rhiannon. Yeah, books I need to read. I'm currently reading The Mortal Instruments. I'm up to the 5th book, I think. Or is it the 4th? Might be the 4th. I think it's the 4th, yeah. Yeah, that's obviously a 6-book series. I'm getting through them. I'm really enjoying them, actually. I'm reading like a chapter a day on the bus to work, and they're really good. I really like them. Didn't like Divergent as much, gotta admit. I'll do a review on the trilogy of that later, I think, actually. But yeah, quite liking the Mortal Instruments. Need to finish those. Really need to finish those. They're great. I also need to read The Fault in Our Stars because I've seen the movie and I really like the movie. I need to read the book. Same with Perks of Being a Wallflower. They're kind of the teen, kind of my genre of writing thing, so I have to read them. It's just have to. I started Perks, didn't get into it very much. I also need to read the entire Percy Jackson series. And the, is it the Heroes of Olympus? Something like that series that's kind of linked to that, I think, somehow. But yeah, I need to read the Percy Jackson series and the rest of them by the same author. I also want to read a series. I read the first book, long time ago. Actually, there's 2 of these. I read the first book quite a while ago, and I want to read now the full. It's both of them are trilogies. The first one, The Left Hand of God, which is it was a rather disturbing book, but a brilliant one all the same. And the second trilogy is Shadow Magic, which is actually based on Celtic mythology, which I find amazing for a book because there are never any that are based on Celtic mythology. So I'd love to read those. Another set of books that I started to read and never finished was the Demonata series by Darren Shan. Because that's when I was reading it, it was 10 books in, and I think there's been more since. And it's so much. It's so long. And I got to like book 7 at like Harry Potter length, basically. And I was reading them, and I was trying my hardest, and I just couldn't get through them. Like, I got to like about 3/4 through the 7th book, and I was just like, I can't keep going. And I kind of gave up. Don't get me wrong, Darren Shan is an amazing author, but when a series goes on for that long, it's difficult for me to keep going. I mean, I barely managed with Harry Potter. It was just, I mean, it's just, series can go on for too long sometimes. And eventually you're just like, where is this even going? Why am I reading this? What is happening? Because it's so long since you started, you can't remember how it even began. But yeah. Another book I tried to read and couldn't even get into was Under the Dome by Stephen King. Don't get me wrong, I understand that Stephen King is a brilliant author and you can't dislike him, and he's just amazing, and he is God to all horror people. I get that, but I wasn't a fan of Under the Dome, and I probably won't ever read Stephen King, because it's not my genre. It's not something I'm particularly interested in. I'm not really into doing big authors. Fandoms, sure, I will. Mainly to see what most of the hype is about, generally. And sometimes I get sucked in and sometimes I won't. But when it comes to kind of classics, like, I wouldn't, like, I've never really read Dickens either, or anything like that. Like, classics, don't read any of those. Don't read any big authors, really. I mean, I want to read J.K. Rowling's other book, kind of, but part of me is just like, well, you don't really need to bother. But I like to see what it's about first and then have a look. I don't think it's really my cup of tea, though. I I refuse to read 50 Shades of Grey for moral and, author standards. But yeah, that's essentially most of it. In terms of stuff I really need to read, though, so Percy Jackson, Mortal Instruments, there's ones that Rihanna keeps mentioning that I really want to read as well, but I can't think of what they are now. But yeah, if you have any suggestions on what I should read, leave them down below. Bear in mind I do have quite a list going now, so I will have to try and get round to them as soon as I can. I still have 2 and a bit of the Mortal Instruments books to go, and I still have other ones as well on top of that. I have, unlike Rhiannon, finished Harry Potter. I finished it quite a while ago. I've also finished the Divergent trilogy and the Hunger Games trilogy, all of which are pretty good. Divergent is probably my least favourite of those 3 series, and looks like it's going to be put down below the Mortal Instruments as well. So, yeah. Don't get me wrong, Divergent, loved the first book, but then it kind of went a bit meh. And I'll explain it all when I do my review video, which should be relatively soon, although I can't promise anything. Okay, and that's all for now. Bye for now. Hope to see you next time.